This video is sponsored by Skillshare. This is Tabletop time. I'm Dave.
I'm Murray.
And today we are hands-on with Spearhead, the brand new way to play Age of Sigmar 4th edition.
Yes, we're both painted up our respective forces out of the Skaventide box, Stormcast and Skaven, and we're going to be using those.
We're going to play a game today, and we're going to share our thoughts with you and show you all how that went. We need to dive into it, but playing a game is thirsty business. I need a coffee.
Gentlemen, today your top secret mission will be to infiltrate enemy lines and get those coffee beans. Goose, Maverick, I want you on this one.
Let's give him hell, brother.
Just like old times.
In the pipe, 5x5, brother. We got bogeys coming in hot.
There's a bogey on my tail! Maverick!
Watch your flank, Goose!
I'm hit! Goose! Oh, Maverick! I'm going down!
No! Ah!
You were gonna what?
We secured the coffee, but we lost a good man. In the universe, the majority of more casual fans of the IP will be attracted to and interested in a couple of things from the movie or the book.
It's Tabletop time!
I'm Dave.
I'm Murray.
And I'm Tom.
Wrote that little bit of Bloodborne theming I'm trying to put into my army, but I'm still working on it.
Seen the build, it's linked up in the card, but it's gonna be a good one today.
So painting this guy, I started with a real nice deep blue, but then I really wanted to go real deep in with a burgundy underneath everything else.
Okay, so today we have played a game of Spearhead, and we're going to be sharing our thoughts with you today in a bit of a play-by-play and recap of that game. Think part battle report, part review. In Spearhead, your faction can take an enhancement for your general as well as a choice between your detachment ability. Every faction has a set of abilities, and then you choose an ability for your particular detachment, and then you choose an enhancement for your warlord. And I had chosen the option for my Stormcast to allow me to choose a unit to run and charge in a single turn.
Yeah, so you have generally a choice of two abilities for your army. One's usually a bit more offensive, the other's defensive, so you switch how you play. And then the last thing is picking a bit of flavor and utility for your character.
Yeah, absolutely. So turn one, deployment was easy. I think setting up Spearhead is super simple. The way you flow through the battle plan is really basic. There's only 2 deployment maps, and throwing down your models and having the objectives on the game board is pretty simple, pretty easy.
So the battle map or mat itself is identical on either side except for the realm you're playing in, and that changes which of the twists decks you draw from. And the deck is drawn from every battle round, and that will basically influence how each of you is probably going to play.
So the first one that got drawn basically said you get extra VP for striking across the battlefield and ending up in your opponent's deployment zone or taking an objective they control. So I was pretty eager to just go ham and attack you. And I also noted that several units can be reinforced, which means when they die, you can bring them back onto the battlefield. Your rat ogres and your engineer, your warp lock, I refuse to call it a warlock engineer. The warlock engineer, hate that.
No, it's Warplock.
Warplock engineer, they forgot the P.
The P is silent when you write it.
Yeah, cool. Your Warplock engineer and your Rat Ogre both were sort of within the extreme striking range of my Stormcast. So
You mean all the way in my deployment zone at the back? Yes.
Absolutely. So you probably assumed I couldn't move like 20 inches in a single turn.
And I think I could fit 1 rat in front of a rat ogre. That's the deployment band.
Oh, you sound salty, mate.
Nothing could be done.
I gotta be honest, straight up. This review is going to be pretty positive because I really liked it and I have a lot to say about it. But I will say off the bat, the first negative is probably turn 1 charging. I hate turn 1 charging. I don't care what the game system is. I don't care how you justify it as like getting into the fight and getting the game rolling. In a game that has range combat and melee combat, factions should be allowed to use their bows, for example. And you shouldn't need to screen them with a unit, especially when combat range is 3 inches now. So like even if you had a screen, you need to be 3.5 inches behind the front model of that screen or else you're still in combat. So that was kind of interesting. So I charged up the side, used a bunch of my once per game abilities and just pasted those rat ogres with my liberators and also almost killed your engineer.
Yeah, it went down to 1 wound.
So I have 8 hammers.
Cool.
So there's a total of 8 wounds.
Yep, so 2 die.
2 dead ogres.
I then was able to scurry away for a turn and decided to focus on some map control, actually go for all the capping points, which worked pretty well. I was able to basically burrow up using my faction ability into the corner which David had abandoned, so I started capping his points, and I rest in the middle to try and get revenge and wipe out your angels.
I did find it really interesting. I was smugly self-assured that I had absolutely sort of like trounced you strategically with that first move. I'm like, all right, I've taken down those rat ogres. They're not coming back. They're one of your big threats. To kill Stormcast, which have good armor.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you did the absolutely correct thing. Rats have something, whether it's tech or big monsters. If you focus on one of those, the rest of the army should fall apart. So you did absolute correct thing.
Well, it was interesting because after all of that, I was like, I scored these victory points and I scored this and my cards. So you've got these battle tactic cards, really cool. Every turn you draw them and they are either like your stratagems equivalent, your commands, your orders, or they're a way to get victory points. And if you expend them as a resource, like a command ability, you can't get the victory point from them. And I just think it's a really cool balancing mechanic. It makes you think about which ones you want to hold back, which ones you want to use. And it also means sometimes the one that's like a command point that's an objective you can't reach, that one actually can be a really useful ability that you can use. So it means there's a really good way to get rid of the dodgy ones. Go cap this objective in their territory. Well, I can't do that, but I can get +1 to my saves.
I hate it when you get screwed over in 40k where you draw a card and you go, cool, I cannot achieve this. Like, it may not even be applicable to the game we're doing, but this will just have an ability.
Kill a psyker.
You can take advantage of, which is awesome.
Yeah, well, what I found interesting is that with that in play, the first turn, I'm like, I've trounced you. 6 victory points.
Yep.
Not a chance. And then after your turn, you also got 6 victory points.
Yep.
But you didn't really kill much of mine.
No, I didn't. I just ran around, made sure I scored a lot of objectives and passed some of my battle tactics.
So the points are, do you control 1? Yes.
Yes.
Do you control 2?
Yes.
Do you control more than me? Yes.
Yes.
So you get 4 and then you get 5 because you get an extra victory point for controlling this. You get 6 objective points. So you get the same as me, 6 objective points each.
There we go.
And you thought it was going to be unbalanced at the start. It was like, I win. No, you just immediately scored exactly the same points. This did mean that as we went into battle round 2, there wasn't a underdog. Now, do you want to explain the underdog mechanic?
So the underdog is the person who is behind in victory points, and that allows them to do a couple of things, including opening up the possibility of taking the double turn. The double turn is infamously pretty controversial for Age of Sigmar. Specifically in Spearhead mode, not normal mode, you can take the double turn. However, you do not draw any battle tactics, and that can be quite a decision.
Yeah, you're not only potentially sort of signing off on not getting a bunch of victory points, but it's also your strategic command things. Now, that doesn't apply if you're losing by a significant margin. So if you're the underdog and you're 5 points behind, you can actually take the double turn with no penalty. Otherwise, you get penalized for it, which is pretty cool. And it's a roll off every turn. I don't mind it. At least in Spearhead, it seemed okay. I didn't have a problem with it. But not only that, underdog means that the trait cards that for the realm that you draw every turn typically confer an advantage to the underdog. Now, if there is no underdog, often the second clause on those cards just does nothing. So in our previous turn, we had an extra victory point for sort of charging and capturing an opponent's objective. If either one of us did that, which is how Murray scored my backfield even without fighting, by tunneling his rats there. But there was a second clause on the card that only takes effect if there's an underdog, which there wasn't. And going into the second turn, we were tied on victory points. So even though I'd killed a few of your models, there was no underdog.
Tactically, I sort of did myself over by doing well on objectives. I could have probably gotten a few perks by being the underdog, but it was just neck and neck. So that was interesting.
I think one of the potential criticisms I've heard is people strategically, deliberately being the underdog for the advantage that it confers. I don't think it's going to happen because I don't think, at least in Spearhead, I don't think the advantage is reliable enough to like swing games. Because sometimes the underdog advantage will be really good for you. Other times the underdog advantage just won't be that relevant.
Or it will just be less than whatever you gave up to get the underdog.
Victory points, which could just cost you the game. Because sometimes it'll be like, you get a bonus on units defending your objectives in your backfield. And maybe you don't have any units doing that.
That has a strong feels of hanging back in Mario Kart to try and get the a bullet bill or something,
Yeah.
like it probably might not pay off.
Yeah, and then you just get red shelled a bunch. In round 2, the trait was to wipe out whole units, and Murray had positioned himself with his Rat Lord in the center of the battlefield and taken some nasty bites out of my prosecutors. Pretty sure at this stage the prosecutors are dead. They're quite expensive. Historically, prosecutors have always been a great objective grabber and harasser, but for their fragility and their points, not that that matters in Spearhead, they're pretty easy to remove from the board with only 2 wounds per model, only 3 models.
Yeah, relatively glass cannon, but they do have the reinforcement keyword.
A battle tactic. Pick a friendly hero. Heal him D6.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
He
Full
just
health Warpy Locky.
Just healed all your damage. Why don't my abilities do anything good?
Well, it's bat time.
I healed my engineer back to full health, and you just reached past him to the Gracier that was using the nearly dead Warplock engineer as a meat shield and just...
All right, I'm gonna kill your Gracier. I'm declaring that I'm gonna kill him. I may not.
Ooh, you got him. You got him.
Bird eat rat. Standard. This is how things should be. Yes, the Stormcast character on the Griff Charger of whatever description it is, the crow bird thing, it's vicious. It does quite a lot of damage, and it effectively deleted the Gracier. And then my Liberators followed up and pounded that poor Warplock engineer into paste. And I promised you, I said you will not fire that rifle this game, and you did not.
Yeah, there wasn't much I could do about that.
My Liberators are gonna smack your Warplock engineer.
Good.
The 8 regular hammers. 2 mortal wounds straight away. 3 wounds at neg 1.
He's back to 1, baby.
And the grand hammer.
Damn it.
1 rend, 2 damage.
Sixes. Ha! Oh, nah.
And battles we are swinging and you're out of here. So I'd consigned my prosecutor to death, and I'd potentially sort of sacrifice VP because I had not really worried about objective control this turn, which felt like it could have been a game-losing decision at that time.
Yeah, you went for the no cap kill all.
Yeah, it's funny, it wasn't that. What I was thinking was both of your rat squads just respawn. Your rat leader has the potential of dealing some damage to me, and by attacking him this turn, I'm gonna get you like a free turn of combat. You were stuck in combat with my 1 prosecutor. So I was just sort of thinking, I have a turn to try and remove units from your game, like take things off your board. And if I can remove these 2 characters and a lot of your utility, you're just gonna have some pathetic rats and a commander. So yeah, I was playing the conservative game. I only got 4 victory points that round, and it's your turn too.
I led off by, well, technically in the end of your combat phase, not killing that 1 angel that was still there.
Yeah.
So I whiffed with every single thing on my character, which felt awesome. A total of 9 attacks there.
Shoot an angel.
2 shots.
2 shots.
You can kill it.
It is possible. 1 hit.
Repeatedly whiffing.
3, it's missed.
Bravo!
1.
It's fine. He lives. You completely whiffed again, and that pretty much summed up your turn too, right? Just whiff the turn.
Yep, but hey, that's gambling sometimes. You roll dice, sometimes it just doesn't work out.
And due to those whiffs, you only got 4 victory points, and we were tied again.
Yep.
We're tied! There will never be an underdog! So Murray has rolled some awful dice rolls today, and you know what they say, get good. So if you want to get good and learn some skills, check out Skillshare, today's sponsor. Skillshare is the largest online learning community with thousands of classes run by industry experts. You can upskill by taking classes in pretty much everything, from art, photography, even how to create a YouTube channel with professional production. All of these are available on Skillshare, and there's even curated learning paths to make your journey easier. One of the courses I dived into was Pro Product Photography on Pure White Background by Adam Bader, which is how I got such crisp, seamless photos of my minis. And specifically trying to get the best results I can out of a camera without going to editing software, you can see some of my immediate results here and how I've already unlocked new ways to use a camera that I didn't even think about before. And I'm really excited to see where my learning will take me next. As our Northern Hemisphere friends are entering summer, with longer days, school breaks, good weather, and plenty of time to dive into new learning opportunities, it is the perfect time to try learning a new skill. Or if you're down south like me, the middle of winter, spending lots of time indoors is a great time to learn behind a computer. There's so much available to level up your photography. So if you're interested in getting started, you could try the Learning Path Intro to DSLR Photography. Get confident and go manual. The first 500 people to use my link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial. So get started today. So no underdog going into round 3. So the underdog underdog mechanic, hard to review, 4-turn game. We're on turn 3 and we have no underdog still.
Yep, game going quick.
Yeah, I mean, they say the games will take about an hour and a half. Our game took an hour and 40 minutes, including filming. So it probably, and checking the rules because it was the first time we played it in a long time. We have played Spearhead once before. We went to a private Games Workshop event that was very, very cool. And we got shown how to play Spearhead, but that was the only time we've played it. And that was a while ago. So it was good to refresh. I reckon we probably would have taken an hour to play the game, maybe an hour and 15 without those things.
Yeah, especially once we got used to like the ability cards and the characters and all the rules associated with them.
Abilities. So all of the things in Age of Sigmar now are abilities. And it's kind of lame to start with. Like my mentality going into it is like, ugh. I think it's just a change in mentality. And once I warmed up to it, I actually like it. It's quite clear. If the ability says core, they can only use 1 core per phase. Otherwise, they can use as many as they want. Almost everything only has 1 or 0. Some of them have 2 though, like characters. And they're color-coded. I loved that. It meant that when I went hero phase, I scanned my things. Was there a yellow? No. Okay, I have no hero phase abilities.
Yeah.
Did you find the color coding useful?
Yeah, really, until I lost all those characters with said abilities.
on turn 2.
But yeah, you're like, oh, do I have any offensive abilities? Look for purple or red for combat. It's super simple, really accessible. It's great.
So turn 3, we had this weird twist came up, and it was definitely a twist that would change games where the underdog got to basically turn off an objective for the full battle
Yes,
round.
Ring of Fire.
It was really cool. And then if you stood there, you actually took damage. The Ring of Fire, you eat a lot of chili. If there's no underdog, roll off and the winner picks an objective.
I rolled a 1. I think
see.
you're picking.
Picks 1 objective of the battlefield. It's no longer controlled by either player and cannot be contested or controlled this battle round. In addition, after victory points have been scored, D3 mortal damage to each unit that has models on the objective.
So you blow one up.
Now, we had no underdog, so we rolled off. I won the roll off, and I actually just removed an objective Mari had and was walking away from. So I ignored the clause about it dealing damage. I just realized if I take that off the table, I score a bunch of victory points that I wasn't going to score because now you don't control more than me. So that was a helpful twist. Oh, it's tough, right? Because if I pick this, I'm in a much better position to murder you. I'm just going to take away one of yours. I'm going to pick this one. You no longer have this objective.
Wow.
Which then means I currently control 2, you control 2, but I can probably kill that and contest. So that's my plan. I don't think it would have helped you as much as it helped me. Basically allowed me to get all my victory points that I might not have gotten. But yeah, then I charged you. We basically went straight to the charge phase, a little bit of movement. It was time for me to kill that last character that couldn't respawn, aka your rat leader, and you'd screened it well. I couldn't really get in. I couldn't get through with my characters, but I still charged with my leader and I rolled a 12. And there's no rules that we could find that state anything about charging in a straight line. You can move through terrain. You can't move through models. So because I did a 12-inch charge, I could just do like a massive L and just go through terrain and back in.
Yeah,
and I got in
ended
combat.
closer than when you started, so.
Yeah, I ended in within half an inch. So we got there. I'm going to charge with this guy. 12 inches. There's no rules that say I have to move in a straight line, right? Can move through the combat ranges of any units and must enter move within half an inch of visible movement. So I can
You can do a big L.
go 6, 6.
He turned an L into a W. How about that, ladies and gentlemen?
Then we proceeded to systematically wipe out all the rats. I'm just going to try and paste those clan rats, I guess, because that makes sense. Total of 3 so far, and then the Warhammer has 2 mortal wounds. The Samus Aran baseball bat lady just pulped 4 rats on her own. My leader is going to attack your leader. 5 attacks with his hallowed great axe.
1, haha, 7 wounds.
You take 7 wounds. His lord's dead.
He's dead.
His lord is dead. And have I got some good news for you? She's on 3 inches and he piles in and now makes 3 attacks, which could be enough to kill you. 3 hits, all wound, 6 up to save. And the prosecutor sweeps in and just kills all 3 remaining rats. That is the complete curb stomp at the center of the table. So while you whiffed, I think you maybe did like 2 wounds in the whole combat. I killed your character and the rats that were with it. I'm sorry, Murray. And from there, the game still didn't seem necessarily caged up because of the amount of VPs we were gaining. I gained another, I think 4 that turn, and then it was your turn 3.
All right.
Cool reinforcements.
Now that comes on my board edge now.
Didn't you take the army rule that says...
Within 13 inches of my corpse. Way to rub that one in.
I didn't know. You're so naturally funny, Murray. It's within 13 inches of my corpse. Sure, why not? No, okay, yes. So I forgot that's how it works.
Yeah, all the rats come out. Loot, loot.
I've never played this before.
So at that point, I only had, well, technically the clan rats that just got wiped out respawned due to reinforcements. So I was just basically trying to get some victory points however I can.
Yeah, you got 4 VPs. So we were tied. We're still tied. Despite Murray having 2 squads of clan rats and that's it, and I was down 1 liberator and 2 prosecutors, we were tied.
Yeah, like you were, in terms of the army, smashing me apart, but I was still in the fight due to victory points.
You control 1, 2, 3, which is more than my 1. You get 3. Do you score any traits?
Friendly units within 3 inches of the long battlefield edge in enemy territory.
4 victory points. Do you have any others?
No.
And we're still tied! You then won the roll-off and decided...
I decided that I would go first. Oh,
So you rolled a 2. You can double turn me if you want.
Cool.
If you do, you don't get to draw these cards though.
If you go first, you can probably spread literally to the 4 corners of this earth and try and contest each and every one.
Yeah. Not only can I will do that.
Yeah, which is going to happen regardless
Yeah.
of what I do. So I'm going to take the double turn,
All right,
even if I don't get this.
Seize the initiative.
and try and get what points I can, establish the points I have before I lose more rats. So with Sticky in mind, I hid in one corner, and then as the twist for that turn was wipe out a specified unit, I chose your weakest, most wounded character to basically, in the final round, see if it can wipe out.
Each player scores 1 extra victory point at the end of the battle round if the enemy blood-marked unit is destroyed.
All right. I'm going to pick these clan rats.
I feel like there were some ways in which I could have gotten an advantage here. This was not one of them. I will select.
The character. Cool.
Yep. Yeah, running over and just lynching you is probably not going to happen. But is it worth a victory point? It might be.
You going to do it?
Sod it. I'm not going to hide in a corner like a Stormcast.
Like a rat, like a literal rat. You're behaving uncharacteristically bravely.
Yeah. Plus, I have sticky objectives, so technically I still have this. Yes.
This is your last best hope at scoring a victory point.
It sure is. Let's go with 20 attacks, shall we?
I'm terrified.
Here we go.
And now I take 4 saves. I technically could die because I have 4 wounds.
Let's go!
4 3-up saves. I made all of them.
Damn.
Cool. I'm going to turn around and retaliate with my Lord Veritan, who's going to hit you with my Fire Stick. Hits. 6 up.
6 up, baby! No.
4 dead rats
24?
from her. You didn't even take a wound off it.
Yeah.
Just indicative of your roles for the entire game. You walked in, did nothing, and then the entire squad got killed in retaliatory combat.
Yeah, the respawning rats at the end of the turn doesn't work if they're all dead.
So that was pretty much that. Your turn wrapped up quickly. You did get victory points. Is that your turn, sir?
Sure is.
How many VPs do you score? 3.
Yep.
You're on 17. 17 victory points. I'm on 14. It enters my last turn because the game ends on turn 4. And this is where the Stormcast's movement just won me the game. Because my prosecutors can fly 12 and my character on the Griff can also move 12 and the board is so small, I just moved both characters onto a different objective and then ran a 3rd squad onto another objective and then the other to attack Murray, and I capped all but 1 on the board.
Also, you managed to get all 3 of your battle tactics.
Because they were all related to capturing specific objectives on the table. All right, Murray. Good game.
Well done.
It was 17 to 21. It wasn't that
Yeah, like,
distant.
you wiped me out, but I lost by 4 points. That's
Yeah.
not much.
Yeah, it was pretty. If I hadn't had the perfect draw of hands, that would have put me on 18 versus 17. Like the fact that I
I
achieved
believe
all
you
3.
had 3 of that.
Yeah. And the fact that I was in the center with my whole army with 12-inch movement and could just go like, yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's kind of believable to me. By the viewers at this point, it's kind of just what the people expect. It would have been about 1 hour and 15 without cameras and all that business. What is your first thought? Is there anything you want to get out about Spearhead?
It was fun. I got smashed, but it was quick enough that I just want to play another game.
Did you feel that you got smashed because the Stormcast list was better than the Skaven list? Or did you just think that tactics and the game and the roles just decided it today?
I think you learn a couple of things very quickly, just through familiarity. You do a couple of mistakes, you learn from it, I could have done this. This would have done better. As opposed to sometimes, let's just say 40k. Sometimes it doesn't really matter what you do. You're not gonna do anything against those Terminators or whatever. You're just not gonna win that particular thing. Here, I feel that there's just lessons you could have reapplied yourself in some different way.
I think Skaven could absolutely beat the Stormcast. Like, if your Rat Ogres had got a full turn, shot for the round, charged, you know, you could have done some serious damage with them. It just, sometimes it comes down to the rolls, and in games that small, it always happens. My feeling is I think Spearhead is the best beginner baby version of a game that Games Workshop make. I think it's the best version of the light, the diet game. It also feels unlike Combat Patrol, which feels like a prototype where they sort of swung the boxes they already had into a game mode. It actually feels like they knew Spearhead was coming when they were designing those boxes, more than the other way around. So yeah, I think from my perspective, it feels pretty damn good. I would very happily rock up and play a game of Spearhead.
I'd say that 40k Combat Patrol, it was pretty much the prototype for this.
That's what it feels like, yeah.
There was hype. I had hype for both versions going in. Very quickly, we ran into some issues with Combat Patrol, particularly vehicles and such. There were some balancey things across all the factions that were just a bit unpleasant. I don't think I'd want to play Combat Patrol again, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Spearhead though, I'll play that. I'll play different factions. It's fun to see how different armies behave.
Yes.
It's really cool.
I think the even playing ground of Age of Sigmar just feels a bit better for it. I like that every unit can cap objectives. There's not weird issues around holding and capping objectives. I really like that it feels like an actual game. I love that we get Fire and Jade in the box of Skaventide.
Yes.
Actually having all of the Spearhead rules, so you can just flick through and read them. Like, gosh, that's dangerous.
Yeah,
that's dangerous.
You can sit through and show your mates all their factions.
I also like the prospect for expansions to this, like Kill Team, where they can just release, you know, a bundle of cards and another map, and you have a whole new way to play. Like, it'll be interesting to see what they do with like different realms, because we've got two realms. Different board configurations with the objectives. They might try some different objective configurations. They might not.
Terrain as well. That could mix things up quite a bit.
So overall, I think people will be playing more Spearhead than any other baby form of a game that there is. I can see it. And I think that that's why I'm so high on Skaventide. And like, there's one or two people who'll be like, shills, you go, whatever. Well, we criticize Games Workshop plenty, even though they send us free stuff. Like, I was more critical on Leviathan than on this box. Just feels like two people could buy it, split it, and actually have a really good building hobby and gaming experience out of the box. And they'd have balanced games, fun games, robust games that would lead them into a proper army or a full-size army.
Yeah, I've had good experiences playing it. I played against Nurgle. Nurgle felt like Nurgle. That was really cool. Even the Spearhead that has Indrasta, seen the rules for that, it's really thematic, and they thought of a way how to balance something like that.
And shock horror, I lost a game playing as Nighthaunt, and I felt like a ghosty ghoulie. All my I had ghost things and I ghosted around, and it was very cool. But it was fun. I hate Nighthaunt. I said getting into the game, I was like, Nighthaunt, they literally one of my least favorite factions, couldn't interest me. I had a lot of fun playing it because I was ghosting around being a ghost.
Yeah, you reaped the corn.
I did, although they suck. So word of warning, Nighthaunt players, the guys with the sides are awful. They're so bad. Chain Rasps do better than them. That's pretty much my feelings on Spearhead.
Good fun, good time investment. You can play in a lunch break with your mates if you wanted to.
Thank you to our patrons for watching this video. Watching the video, you also for supporting us on Patreon.
Yeah, that too. And we have something just a little bit special coming.
Oh, we have something
for patrons.
Exciting. Yeah. Right, so if you're a patron member, we are going to be uploading sort of the mostly unedited footage of the battle report. So if you just want to see like basically the equivalent of a live stream of us playing our game raw, without the commentary, just as it was. We're going to be putting that up for patrons as a special treat, and also to gauge if you like that, because it might be something we do more of in the future.
Yeah, this was a lot more of a hard and fast sort of battle report, so if you like it, we might do more.
Thank you to Skillshare for helping me get better at photography. That was very good. And
unfortunately, they didn't have one on how to roll dice better.
There might be. Maybe we could make one. All right, that's all for today's video. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage of Age of Sigmar 4.0. And we hope you're excited to get into it.
We told you we'd be doing different things for Tuesday videos, and we just did a whole battle report, so...
Sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah. Don't count.
A review.
It's not our narrative battle report.
Yeah, but hey, we threw it in there, so...
We rolled dice.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
See you next time.